This is a ClearCom Technologies training video on how to remove the CIM module from a Saab 9.3 years 2005 through 2010. In this particular video, we're training you on how to remove the CIM module when the airbag release holes are exposed behind the airbag. Now I've already got this loose, so let me just pull this off and show you what I mean. The airbag release holes are these two holes right here. There is a big U-shaped spring going all the way across the steering wheel here, starting here, going down across the bottom and up to the top. So to release the airbag off of that spring, we use an L-shaped Allen wrench about this size. It doesn't have to be exact, it just fits pretty good into the airbag hole, release hole here. So you stick the Allen wrench as far to the outside of the hole as possible and pry the spring inward towards the center of the steering column until you feel it pop off. And you can see the airbag has is spring loaded, and it kind of popped off a little bit, so this one side is released. Go to the other side on the outside of the hole, pry in, and obviously the rest of the airbag is now released. So now I will reattach the steering wheel and show you how to do it with an attached steering wheel. With the steering wheel attached, I will now show you how to release the airbag. Feel in the back for the airbag release holes. Once you have a good feel for where they are, insert the tool again to the outermost point in the hole and press inward until it pops off of the tab. You can see that this side is now released. Now I feel underneath for the other release hole and insert the tool on the outside and pry inward until the airbag pops off. Okay. Now with the airbag released here, you want to rotate the bottom of the airbag up in this manner to expose 3 wires that need to be disconnected. 2 here and the clock spring clip right here. To release these two, these yellow tabs need to be pulled out, and the tool that I generally use is the scratch all, because it can pry right into that edge and pop it up there and there. Now these simply pull out. Okay, the airbag is now released, and the clock spring clip, there's a tiny clip there. I can push down with the scratch awl and pull that clip out as well. Now to remove the steering wheel, there is a T50 bolt holding it on. So we have a ratchet with a small 2 or 3 inch extension and a T50 bit. Once that is removed, the steering wheel can be pulled off, which now exposes the CIM module. This right here is the CIM module. The first thing we want to do is mark the location of the clock spring and the clock spring indicator. So with the scratch awl, I simply make a small mark where the yellow dot is, as well as where the top of the clock spring is. This way, after you receive the CIM module back from us, you know exactly where the exact position that the clock spring needs to be in before you attach the steering wheel. Okay, and from this point we can go to CIM Removal.
On the CIMs, I find it easier if you release and the SIM pulls out, it telescopes in and out. Pull it out as far as it pulls out and then lock it back in place. The next thing we're going to do is remove the bib, and this is just hiding the driver's view from the internal workings of the car. But all I do is I pinch both sides. You pinch it right here and just pull it towards you. It will just unsnap. And what I like to do is I just unsnap it and stretch it right over the SIM. That gets it out of your way. Now, there are two. I'm going to move this down. I forgot to move it out and down. So we're going to move it down so we can get, actually I can grab both hooks. There's two big tangs holding the SIM onto the column, and I can pull the bottom one down with my fingers, but the top one I can't get enough leverage on. So I'm going to stick a screwdriver and lift it up, and with that the SIM has pulled away, and the only thing holding the SIM to the car now is the harness. And all you do is you pull out on this little maroon connector. I'm going to use a screwdriver just to get it started. After I've got it started, I'm going to pull on it with my fingers, and it ejects, and the SIM is now off of the car. Here are the two tangs that were holding it to the column, so those simply get pulled out to release them from their resting points on the column.
With the SIM module removed from the vehicle, we want to prepare it for shipping. First thing we do is tape the clock spring into place. Just a couple pieces of tape on there. Secure it down so that it won't move during shipping. Then, to remove the shroud, we simply pull and wiggle just like we did to remove it off of the dashboard. Both sides just pop right off. And the final thing we need to do is remove the wiper arm and blinker arm. If you look on the underside, there's a small release hole on both of the arms. And if I grab my scratch-all again and come in on that release hole at about a 45-degree angle from the rear, it presses down on a tab and the arm pulls right out. At this point, the SIM is ready to ship. This is exactly what we need to be able to make you a new key. So, simply wrap it in a couple of layers of bubble wrap. And stick it in a box slightly larger than the SIM itself. And you can fill in any empty spaces with either packing peanuts or crushed paper. And finally, on the website, you can print off our order form and fill it out with your ship to address and phone number and put it in the box with the SIM module. That way, when it arrives, you know exactly where it came from and where it needs to go and who to contact.